Hi, everybody.
Hey, good morning.
Hello.
Hey, Jordan, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello, everyone. So sorry, Max, that you missed it. I mean,
Oh, it's fine. It was my bad.
Give it another minute, see if we can get a few more folks on the line. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna share my screen. Okay, first things first, the TSC chair election has ended. We've only had one candidate come forward, so help me congratulating Jordan from Connect 5G as our newest Magma TSC chair.
Awesome.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Cool. And there has been some proposed agenda items here, so I'm sharing my screen. First things, how do we want the new TSC to work? There's been a high-level proposal focused on feature security and CI/CD. Has anyone else put any more thought into this of how we want to structure things?
I wonder about a operational, I don't know, interest group.
So what do you mean by operational interest group?
Things like budgets, for example.
Mhm. And we can put this under other, correct? The budget. We can go
Yeah,
in.
and the budget, I mean, I'm here to help manage any budget related items for the TSC. I'm not sure what type of widely set group we're wanting to help with that.
What do we all think about good workflows for dealing with stuff like budget? Is it, is it a Kendall project or is it offline? Does it happen on Mondays?
I mean, these are recorded sessions, and I don't think we should discuss budget on the recording sessions. And I don't know how everybody else thinks.
So if I may, my understanding was that the budget is separate from TSC. TSC needs to focus on the working groups, the technical work of the Magma and the stuff like that. And then periodically, something like maybe once a month, TSC decides and stack ranks and makes a proposal to LF for the thing. So I think it will not be proper to have all the discussion of every meeting discussed and focused, oriented around budget, but it should be focused around the work. And then budget could come from the work discussions. Thoughts?
I'm with you. I'm with you, son. I mean, we should not focus on the budget. We should focus on what we want to achieve, and then leave the budget discussions for another type of meeting.
So I wonder about the structure of that other meeting.
I mean, any proposal for the structure of the other meeting?
I'm happy to put a proposal together by end of the day today and send it out to TSC. And that'll be essentially built around the process of the town hall meetings, couple of multiple tracks, call them interest group or working group, come up with the term, and then discuss it about the once a week, once a month or something like that. But I'll put it all together in a piece of proposal and send it out over the TSC channel, if that's okay.
That would be great, son.
It's okay for me. I mean, when I was proposing this agenda, I deliberately put it in this order because for me, the most important thing on this meeting is to agree how the TSC will work. And the main focus of TSC is what we do with the features, what we do with the security, what we do with the CI/CD, and also how we are going to increase the community. If we don't increase the community and if we don't start engaging the community, we are going to lose the project. We will not have projects very long. And these are the number 2 and number 3 are the most important things for me today. And then, of course, to see if we have something urgently to address on the issue, and then to discuss on a high level if somebody has ideas where the Magma should go as a roadmap. And it's not related to what we will do with the budget because this is different, completely separate discussion. I mean,
I think you mentioned one topic, which is outreach. Might be worth to separate that into another meeting and try to schedule an outreach call and try to find motivated people there. I think it's something that we could spin out early and easily from the current discussions.
yeah, I mean, we need to have the outreach definitely, but also we need to have a plan. How do we engage? Who do we engage and how do we engage? I mean, we need to make sure that whoever works into this area understands that Magma exists and understands that we are a community which accepts people to contribute. You know, so we need to create, and maybe not on this meeting, but we need to sit and work together to create a plan. Are we going to go to universities? Are we going to go to trade shows, road shows? Are we going to directly engage certain type of customers? And I mean, if we do this correctly, we will secure, you know, people. I mean, we will secure bigger interest and we will secure increase of the Magma as a community.
So
That comes under outreach, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So the question is, should outreach or the high-level planning of outreach part of TSC, or should it be a separate effort? And who would lead that effort? I think that's the question I'm hearing.
This is a
So
valid question.
the previous outreach committee was dissolved, right?
Yes, it was dissolved when there wasn't really anybody working on it. If we have someone who wants to step up and lead this effort, then we can spin those meetings back up very easily.
Kendall, I got a question as part of sorry, go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, no, go ahead. So,
Yeah,
Kendall,
so good.
part of the transition, the board dissolution and all that, is there a planned LF communication to the world? Is there anything planned or anything that's supposed to happen on schedule that yes, the board doesn't exist anymore? Do we get one last sort of discussion to the world about what is the status of it? Can you guide?
Not to my knowledge, there's nothing planned.
Okay, so from LF perspective, the outreach stuff is closed until we decide to resurrect it in some form, whether it's TSC initiated or whether it's TSC requested or it's other TSC. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know where we are.
I think it's good to distinguish between outreach and like outreach in the marketing sense, kind of visibility and communications, marketing communications, and outreach in the sense of customer development, like building relationships with universities or companies that might deploy Magma. I think they were kind of blended in the previous phase of work. And I think the marketing communications, as valuable as they are, maybe got a little bit more attention than the relationship development.
We have a community town hall planned that will take place sometime in the first half of February. How about we collect things that we want to put our questionnaires and things and like this that we propose to the town hall and ask to the town hall, and let's ask the community what they want and get some guidance also. Sort of unofficially or whatever, I'm coordinating a town hall meeting. I'm going to be coming up with some dates with Kendall and TSC for proposal by before next week's meeting. And we can start collecting questions for that to be asked on the town hall.
I
would have one quick point about the outreach. It might be a very low-hanging fruit. I don't know why, but in the last couple of days or 2 weeks, we have a lot more questions in Slack. So if more people are up to looking into this and helping answering, it might be a low-hanging fruit for the community engagement.
I mean, this is good. I also noticed that there is, I mean, the channels are much more active these days. So, and this is good proposal.
That would go to general community health support and good practices for growing community, which I think have been kind of not an explicit goal in the past. Obviously, lots of people jump in and are really reactive. But like our turnaround time on PRs and issues, we don't really get a lot of those from outside of the core funded community. Is that correct? So let me propose, I know it's a little wandering, let me propose that in addition to questions on Slack, that issues may also be coming in from third parties. Is that true?
At least a lot of emails I can't relate to people in this group here. So it feels like it's more coming from other external players.
There are definitely feedback from external players, people in the interest, or people have been looking at and stuff like that. Not everybody is coming in and putting the discussion in Slack, and that's just over the last 30 days. So we need to figure out a way of capturing those. And that can be as simple as capturing them in the wiki or as complex as having a document or something. I have a couple of questions on Kendall that I'm trying to come back with some ideas about to do that.
I would also throw something else into the room. We have that discussions panel in on GitHub at Magma, and I just opened it. I'm not looking regularly at it, but more than 50%, I would say more than 60% is unanswered. Some are 5 days old, some are 2 weeks old. That's also a channel that is not monitored, I think.
Discussions, right?
This GitHub discussions, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with Max on that. Basically, that's one of the main reasons for the community not to have that gluing force in Magma. Basically, users of Magma, whether it is individuals or the end deployment companies, they reported issues on 4G. I mean, on either on orchestrator or on the AGW. However, there is no clear commitment from the community in terms of by when the fix will be available or what is the workaround. And similar way, in different forums, we have seen, say whether it is for private 5G or security groups from different organizations, they wanted to use Magma in 2021, late 2021, I mean, and in early 2022, because there was no clear visibility given to them. Interest has died down. And most of you may agree with me on this kind of communities will have life. We can infuse life only by creating an ecosystem where operators participate, startups participate, test tool vendors participate, RAN vendors participate. Without that, it's difficult to sustain the interest of the community.
I think that the old commercially dominated funding model kind of led to the social biases of corporations, which tend to ignore grassroots ecosystem support of the kind that you're talking about. I think that big businesses like Meta tend to underestimate the power of, growing the contributor base one by one. So we're in a position to fix that now. So how would we do all this? Discussions, Slack question turnaround, issues from third parties, like which of us would own that?
I would suggest if we cannot handle that many channels, to reduce the number of channels.
Hmm.
So, for example, if we obviously the discussions panel in GitHub on Magma is under maintained. Maybe we don't have the capacity to sustain it, or maybe the community does not use it, so it's not how the community lives or where the community lives. So maybe that's it's not a good choice to have that possibility there, as it does not work. I might be wrong here. I might just misinterpret the data, but for me it looks like they are actively asked questions, and I don't see active answers, and that's not good. And maybe similar if we have in Slack the issue that we are not able to keep track of everything and follow every thread. Maybe it's good to redirect them early to GitHub and ask them to create an issue and maybe reduce the number of platforms a little bit more, just as a random idea. I'm not sure if it's the good direction. Would be probably better to keep this discussions thing alive. But if the community cannot handle it, we should reduce the number of things.
I would add something else to what you're saying. I mean, you are right. We need to reduce the channels, and also there would be a problem when new people are trying to find information. If we have too many channels, they will not be able to navigate them properly. So they will miss the information. So they might ask duplicate questions, or they might even give up. So having something which is, having less channels, actually, it's much better in this case.
Are we talking about Slack channels?
Slack and I mean any type of communication, including GitHub discussions. GitHub discussion is another channel for me.
Yeah, and GitHub Wiki and Confluence and Docusaurus and our homepage.
Yeah.
And we have several channels.
The discussion. Yeah, great.
Yeah, so I guess we are also moving from Slack Pro to free Slack with only 10,000 history limit for the chat. Am I right?
We will have paid, we have credits on our account that I guess we were overpaying at some point. So we'll have the paid Slack for, I would say probably through the end of this year. And then next year we'll have to move to the free Slack unless the TSC is wanting to use some of their budget to pay for Slack.
Okay, good to know. Thanks.
Well, that's a huge, because what Shivam said was been nagging me that if the Slack goes away, there goes history, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look, like any other as-is TV project, I think the first order of business is to document and figure out what is the state of the affairs right now. I mean, between this, just like Jordan said, between discussions, issues, wiki and the stuff, how about we from TSC put it together in like one piece where everything else is, and that will be the starting point for the community to know, because I don't think everybody knows all the pieces.
I would like to stop the discussion here. I think we are 20 minutes in. We are, and the goal was to understand how the TSC will work. And I think we are solving a very specific problem. I'm not sure, Jordan, if you agree as the chair here, but I think we.
I mean, we have discussion, which is good. I mean, we have discussion, so it's productive discussion. So this is why. But yes, this is only one part of what the TSC needs to do. So we need to discuss more. But let's finish this one. I mean, let's conclude how we are going to what shall we do in order to solve this problem? Shall we call for another working meeting among all of us just to address this issue?
I don't think that we need all of us, but like some just suggested, a map of all the channels and maybe making visible how are they maintained by the Magma community, how active are they used, and what are they for, might help us to get an understanding what to keep what to drop and how to continue.
How about a conversation in real time later this week between people who are interested in contributing to that?
Yeah, let's call that the first round of the outreach call.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I'm okay. So let's do that.
And then how do we go about documenting what we have today? Is that something we can put up on the wiki if there's a meeting notes or something that says, here are the 5 things we have today? And here the
Well,
link. one place?
in my view, we need to document. We need to put it in wiki, but we need to have one page in the Magma core where we put how to onboard people on Magma. Yeah.
Just to put a pin in this, or get it moving, how is Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific time?
Will not work for me, but US and Europe overlap. Meeting slot time is completely booked for me. I think that's good, especially if that was the previous outreach slot. That would be perfect.
Does Thursday 8 a.m. Pacific work for the other TSC members? I'm happy to put it on the community calendar and get it organized.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
works
it
fine for
works.
me as well.
Yeah.
Okay, I will get that set up.
And if somebody has some communication prior to that meeting, should they use the TSC Slack or the community transition Slack or any preference?
I would use the outreach Slack. I don't think that is a transition topic. I think it's TSC is working and has spun up a feature group or a working group thing, and that should have could use the outreach channel.
Yeah,
I mean,
whatever channel we use, can we just document that in a meeting invite? Sorry, go ahead, Jerry.
Yeah, this is what I mean. I wanted to say. Anyway, the key of my proposal is to start spinning off working groups, which are doing these things. So I mean, yeah, this goes into the same direction. We spin out a working group for the outreach, and then we go and we work over there. And if something is required from the TSC, we come back and we check with TSC. I mean, definitely, I want to be part of that group.
Sounds like we tied up that topic. So back to how the TSC should work. Jordan?
Yeah, so as I proposed, I mean, we need to have at least these 3 working groups. Now with the outreach, it might become 4th, where some of us will be participating, one of us will lead the group, and then these groups will come up with concrete proposals, because on this meeting, we have lots of people which are focused on different things. And we cannot have working discussions, and we don't have enough time to have working level discussions. Sometimes we need to go into lots of details. So suggestion would be to spin off these groups and to go into details in these groups. And then these groups should come back with a summary, and if there are proposals to the TSC, and then we should go on and vote and see what we do with these proposals. This is one way to make sure that we have more focused, that we are addressing. I mean, we have people focusing more on certain aspects instead of all of us being experts for everything. So I don't know how the other people are seeing this proposal.
Yeah, do we want to identify people on the call today to take lead on each of the other working groups to get this moving forward?
I mean, if somebody wants to nominate himself, for sure, because if for security, I mean, Lucas, you're the natural person to lead the security group.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. Shubram, yeah, I would say Shubram is the natural guy to lead the CI/CD.
Okay.
Now for features, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, but I also think like many companies, let's say Wave Labs or TNG, are focusing on some specific areas. So we should also open floor who is taking care and who have a bigger team. I'm just an individual. And Wave Labs and the other companies have more resources.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I think since we've discussed this, nobody's pushed any of it forward. So I was thinking if we had someone nominated for each track, then we can, get it going.
I mean, if nobody nominates
Yeah.
himself for features, I can take the features for until somebody else steps in.
Okay.
Kendall, if you would switch in edit mode. I started writing it as a table in this.
Oh, perfect.
I think Psalm's work has been kind of angling towards outreach or features. Might be a useful resource.
Yeah, if you want to lead the features group. I mean, I just throw my name because nobody was throwing his name.
Totally read it.
Sorry, I was trying to find Zoom.
Yeah,
slot.
maybe Yogesh also will be part of that.
Mhm.
If Somi, is that okay?
Oh, yeah, but I'm not, first of all, I'm not a TSC member. And number two, I'm not in the features group is probably the wrong place for me, but I'm happy to coordinate the outreach group. No issue.
Today Yogesh is off and I'm covering for him. He indicated he will contribute to the features.
If he wants to lead, let me know. I mean, as I said, I'm putting my name just for the, because nobody puts his name. So if
Sure.
he wants to lead this feature, and yeah, in the outreach, put my name as well in the outreach, because I'm very interested into that for that group.
For outreach, I can also give my name because I have been working in this area in the past.
I think it would be helpful to not collect who is interested or to separate that. I think my suggestion would be it would be good to have one person that is trying to push that and has somehow some kind of lead head. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just to keep it streamlined, and then once it's spun up, it can organize itself however it wants.
I think Jordan is the best candidate so far because Psalm is not in the TSC. Shivam is doing another one. And also because the Connect 5G connection is an important part of outreach and community development.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, yeah, I agree. So in this case, yeah, you're right. I'll go with the outreach, and then we will ask if Yogesh wants to take the features.
Hmm.
And anyway, this one will be also more natural because Wave Labs is actually lately contributing mainly the features. So
Yeah.
okay, I mean, if we are done with this, if somebody has also idea for another group which might be required, let's put it for the next meeting and let's discuss about, in the same way that we are discussing this for groups right now here. And then basically this outreach is covering the item number 3. So it's the item number 3 of the agenda is passed. If everybody is okay, let's move to what are the urgent things on the security CI/CD.
I might add want to add a new another group just since it's effectively in place. Some is somehow leading from the non TNG side the community handoff.
Okay.
Some if you are okay. It feels like something that would also match here.
Fine, sure, yeah.
I'm okay. Anybody against?
Again, understand that I'm not a TSC member, so I don't know whether that's German here or not.
That's okay. You can still,
It's
help with
yeah.
these efforts.
I mean, the way I was thinking about this, some is more about which people are going to help us rather than who is part of the TSC.
Sure,
You
no
know,
problem.
and yeah, at the end of the day, we are all the same community. So
There is one other thing that's coming in, maybe we can handle it as a community or existing stuff, which is interoperability and like protocol testing and HL testing and stuff, but it's too early to discuss that. I can just bring it up as part of the features or any of the existing ones.
I mean, yeah, we can have it over there as part of the features for now, but I think this one will become its own working group because that will be big. But let's have it in the beginning on the features.
Okay.
Yeah. Because also if we create too many working groups, we will have the similar problem like too many communication channels.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see how these groups will work, and then we can spin off from the groups.
I think it's the same people. I think you have what was it? A stone and a pebble that you put in the middle of the stone group. So I have one open question, if I may ask, which is, one of the first things you start with is, can we get a stable build today out of the DevOps and CI/CD stuff? And I get that question asked, and is that something that we track, or we say, is there a badge or GitHub issues that somebody can reach me offline, maybe Max? Maybe I shouldn't bring it up, but that's one thing that we'll be very interested in tracking to make sure the build's stable and the build's not breaking.
So stable means that CI is green or
Yeah.
last master CI is green. Yeah, it's easy to have that badge or in the README, like latest master build status. It
Okay.
will not be completely green, but that's the current state.
Yeah, that's okay. I'll reach out. Thanks.
Yeah, it's an easy thing.
Yeah, Max, do we have stable branch?
No.
Should we introduce a stable branch? Yes, some question. It's. I mean, some open quite a good subject here. Because if master is not stable, people will not be able to go to it.
We have a stable release. If someone wants to have something stable, check out the release and use that. We don't have capacity to maintain yet another stable thing, I think. If we want to have that, we should do more releases and higher frequency releases.
How about just dragging a tag whenever the build is, I mean, whenever we know that the build is passing correctly, we just tag it as latest stable. And that's it. Just to not to have a meaning that at that point all the build passed.
Hey Jordan, maybe I think as part of the features group, just write it up and communicate back. That's the proposal. Let's just have the visibility of the current stable build or nightly build or whatever we have.
Yeah.
Again, whatever it is today.
Yes, we will do.
And we don't have a CI/CD process for the master builds that works perfectly. We always have errors. So it's very hard to maintain like every single commit that is stable on the master branch.
and our coverage is not pristine. So even if CI is green, that is not yet sufficient to say that it's a stable release.
Yeah, because we have a lot of artifacts. We have Docker images, we have Debian images, we have Helm charts, we have Terraform scripts, we have Ansible scripts. For CI is one thing, but writing the CD code for all that is way more complex. And things keep on changing. Our old code stopped working for Terraform and Ansible, then we have to rewrite things. We have to update the binaries, update the versions. There are a lot of things going on.
I wonder if we could expand the mandate of the CI/CD group to all release engineering. So it would incorporate CI/CD, but also on the topics of having a stable branch. And the reason to do that is that then this really important part of our, of our organization would be covered. Somebody would wake up in the morning thinking about it. And it is a kind of a natural part of CI/CD.
It's completely appropriate. So I'm going to make a suggestion, Jordan, if I may, on all these 5 working groups. Can you just do the first work of business on these is as is and to be? What is the state of the affair today? Document that. However short you want, be appropriate, use your judgment. And then put down what is it that you want to be in the next month or 1 quarter. Because until we have the document, we're going to continually have these discussions. And nobody goes back and reads meeting audio records directly and has a hobby.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, this should be the first order of business on all of these working groups. What is today and where do we want to go?
And regarding the CD, I have one question, like how many of the community members are actually using AWS-based orchestrator? And if we don't have like a good amount of budget or the LF AWS account, who will actively gonna maintain the Terraform code in upcoming days?
This is a very important question that Shubham raises.
I mean, there is no good answer at this moment, Shubham. I think we need to see who is using from the community. Definitely, I know that we are not using it, and we don't have plan to use at the moment Terraform. Even if we use, yeah. But we need to go and ask community who is using, and then to see if, and not only for the Terraform, for all the let's say helper scripts that we are maintaining. We need to see if they are still useful, and if not, we need to start planning how we are deprecating them.
Yeah. So if, let's say, if some companies are using, let's say, AWS orchestrator, and if they can support us in development, let's say they can give us some AWS credits, so developer can continue work on that. That is a one help we can get from the community companies who are actually using it. Otherwise, if let's say if just as normal development, which we can test on a VM, that is much more easier to maintain because we don't have to spend credits. So we can ask this in the community.
Yeah, I agree. We can put on this community outreach, we can put questions to the community like this to give us feedback what they're using and what they think that is missing as well.
Yeah, because what I have seen, like very less people are actually using AWS because that costs around $1,000 a month, and they have, and most of the telecom have their own cloud, so they just set up everything there. So they are not willing to pay extra AWS just to set up a Kubernetes cluster. So there is no point.
So Shubham, so which deployment is more stable at this point for Magma? Is it on AWS or it's on the, using Terraform on your own cloud?
Well, Terraform actually comes in for the AWS only because we have Terraform code only for the AWS setup. But if you want to run entire thing on your own VM or OpenStack or XYZ cloud, you can run everything there also. It's more about budget and how much resilience you want, how much security you want, how much scalability you want. Because AWS, yes, gives it just deployed everything in different regions. So even if the one entire region goes down, you are not worried about that. They have multiple availability zone. But in telecom world, I have talked to many companies. They all have their own cloud. They don't want to go the AWS route.
Yeah.
So
So just I'm trying to understand in terms of support from Magma, out of box, let's say somebody wants to do that, they want to deploy it on their own cloud. So which one is easy, least, effort wise path? Like, is it AWS or it's your own, setup like Kubernetes or OpenStack?
Okay, so yes, AWS is more complicated. If they are going in a VM, if let's say they have their own cloud, they just have to just create a simple VM. If they want to deploy Access Gateway, we have one-liner script. If they want to deploy Orchestrator, we have one-liner script. If they want to deploy Federation Gateway, we have, I think, 2-3 steps script for Docker Compose setup. Setting up entire thing on our own cloud on a simple VM is much more convenient. When they go to the AWS route, that's much more complicated and expensive.
Okay, yeah, then I think it totally makes sense to, to document this and, maybe have this as a preferred method of going forward at least.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, as we said, this can be discussed in more details on the CI/CD, because this is a question for the CI/CD. So this can be discussed more in details, and then we can see what to do. And during the outreach, we will try to get more details from the community if this is still useful or not.
Sounds good.
Shall we move to the next order of business? Which are the open issues? Do we have anything urgent for this
sure,
meeting?
yes. Let me, I wonder if I could share my screen. Thank you. All right, so I maintain a little dashboard that most people don't see, which is this project dashboard. You can see I haven't been updating it since the Christmas season, but it'll probably get woken up again. So at any given time, we could actually walk through all of these items. I've condensed those items into these main threads for the sake of readability. And maybe in the future, like in a working group meeting, we would work through each of these. So here are the important things to know. There's a thread of weaknesses that we know about and we that we need to execute on. Dependable alerts are coming back up. Like this is too high. This 20, maybe 10 are like core items that are very low ROI. But in here, there's going to be low-hanging fruit that's pretty ugly. There's an issue of secure coding practices on the C side, C++. We talked about the Redis library last week, and there's also a thread going on about the MyLineage implementation. Let me go breadth first, and we can come back and go deeper on any items that people want to go into. We received a disclosure a while ago about the EIA0 algorithm, and this has four work items related to this. 2 have been closed and 2 need to be closed. this issue is about the version of OpenSSL we're using. And we need to check back on secrets. They tend to get checked in on a regular basis. Actually, I did a little review last week and asked a question in Slack about that. Let me stop right there. Is there any item we just covered out of this group that people want to talk about?
Can you explain to us what is the meaning of the dependable alerts? Why 20 to 50 is too much? Maybe.
Dependable alerts are about published vulnerabilities in upstream libraries. They tend to affect Go and NPM, and they're often pretty easy to fix, but a human being has to look at them because there isn't a automated fix coming from Dependabot. Dependabot actually gives us pull requests to upgrade them sometimes, but we have to manually accept them. These alerts are pretty noisy, but they do regularly surface things that are meaningful and that we wouldn't want to leave in there.
Yeah, thanks.
Get a feeling for this. The code scanning alerts tend to be not very useful. Hard-coded credentials obviously is a thing. Secret scanning I looked at last week, and these items here tend to be about libraries that need to be upgraded. And you can see, for example, here, there is a auto-generated PR that needs to be merged. There's probably a bunch of those that would get us back under control. Okay, I'll move forward from here. There's a thread of work that has to do with our work streams and overall program management. I need to basically read through everything, reprioritize, see what's still alive and what is lower priority. I want to propose an improvement to our process for implementing features so that in the future, whenever we're building something new, we incorporate threat modeling. Basically a secure design session as part of the initial design phase. However, I think there isn't that much work on designing new features, and so this may not come up. What are people's thoughts?
And we are hoping in future to have more work on that one as well. So, yeah.
The open chain security assurance specification is basically about a standardized set of work streams for application security. Although their documentation tends to emphasize the concept of compliance, what it's really about is helping your project be thorough and professional. And to give one example, security testing is something that Magma has never done and really should do. And that was flagged by this specification.
I think there was security testing, right? Wasn't there external companies that looked through Magma and produced reports at some point?
Yeah, that was a long time back though. It's like
Long time back, yeah.
Yeah, 3 years ago or something.
Yeah. So we should return to that. The one version of that I've seen was an audit, a code audit, and we should look at fuzzing and other kind of automated practices. However, this is going to run up against limitations in resources because testing takes a lot of time. The OpenSSF security scorecard I did about 1 year ago and need to return to it. There's going to be lots of changes, improvements in places where we've gotten worse. And we should talk about funding. So things really tend to get bogged down on engineering time, right? Like when we talked about this Redis issue last week, I think the consensus was that the engineering time to do it would be hard to come by. So funding for security balanced against features stability and so on, is something we have to figure out. And lastly, my own time needs to be funded. I'm a volunteer at this point, and that limits the amount of time I can put into this. So let me open the floor to thoughts. If there are none, sorry, go ahead.
I just think that it's a lot of work, and I don't think that we should purely rely on funding, and instead community should step up and also take these tasks here and should engage with the work that needs to be done here.
Definitely, this needs to majority of these things needs to be taken by the community. And I have a couple of ideas for the outreach, especially for the security testing. Maybe we can organize some type of hackathons on Magma and give some, very small rewards, which are very welcomed by the students. So then we get people trying to expose all our security problems, and then we can try to fix them.
Shruti, her approach to security was to kind of put it out to the larger engineering resources as much as possible. And then I redirected from hands-on stuff to doing mainly kind of TPM kind of stuff. And I think that is well spent time. So for example, researching some project very thoroughly so that all an engineer has to do is sit down and implement some very targeted thing. It's a good use of time. For example, this authentication bypass came down to some very clean little bug description. So I think that works pretty well. Should I book a dedicated conversation about security with the
Yes. As part of the working group, yes, definitely.
Okay.
And we need to try to invite more members from the community on that one.
Yeah. I will post I don't know, 3 reasonable times in Slack. And bi-weekly?
I mean, it's up to you. You will be leading that working group. Yeah.
Okay. I'll post times and an agenda in Slack and make it an open meeting.
Okay. I think we can move to if nobody has any additional comments on the security, we can move to the CI/CD, and then we don't have time for the other. Anything urgent on the CI/CD?
Don't know.
I mean, if you are interested, I have thought a little bit about it. So I have my personal list of things I think that are urgent in CI. At the very beginning, I have onboarding of CI or infra code owners, including documentation. I mean, this is one point we are currently working on. On second place for me would be release onboarding. The last release is a little bit ago, and a lot of stuff changed in between, especially the new Artifactory. And there's some extra work needed. So a focus group for releasing would be something I think is necessary. We still have a lot of flakiness in CI. I think especially important are jobs that run only on master, so integration tests. There's some things are known about the flakiness, but it still needs owner who can drive those topics. And as a personal recommendation, I would say ask the question if it's a good idea to have these focus groups, especially for CI/CD, for a long time, or if it makes more sense to dissolve this into the feature group in order to do real DevOps. Thoughts on that?
I mean, when I was separating them, and you have some point over there, but when I was separating them, I did this deliberately because we have lots of things on the CI/CD, which might come as a noise now on the features. Basically, we have half of our features are CI/CD.
Don't get me wrong. I don't say that this was a bad idea. I think it was a real good idea to have a focus group on that. Just to have in the back of the head, to keep in mind, to try to get rid of this group. So to have this as a goal, basically.
Let's see how it goes.
Yeah,
I mean, yes.
yeah, of course. But I'm just saying this because I'm a huge fan of doing real DevOps, and in these terms, I would see it included in the feature group, but not now. Maybe, hopefully, in a couple of months, for example.
Yeah.
Okay, but I mean, this was just the last point. So urgent problems in CI/CD, I see again, onboarding code owners, documentation, releases, and flakiness in CI.
And I mean, for me, the most important would be to onboard the code owners, because without them,
yeah,
we cannot even merge anything. So what are the problems with this?
Yeah, people need to step forward to show interest in this topic, do a couple of pull requests, create issues, get code ownership. And I mean, one thing we are doing in order to drive this forward, in 2 days on Wednesday, we have this hands-on session to go through the steps in Magma CI, CD in terms of a pull request, and hopefully get more people interested in this topic. But if you have more suggestion, please say.
For me, this is good. I don't know if somebody else has suggestion, but for me, this is good. We will try. I mean, I was talking about increasing the community, definitely we need to increase the community of users and community of developers. We need both type of members of the community to be increased and engaged.
Yeah, sure.
Niels, it feels like you're leading that, and I wonder if you feel like you have all the resources you need to do that.
I mean, we are doing this in terms of the handover. For these focus group, I would like to consult there, but I don't know if it makes sense if I participate there a lot, because at least me, I will not be here for more than a couple of weeks.
So somebody would need to own it kind of going forward. You need to be able to put it in somebody's hands, and in the short term, have the time to drive it. Do you feel like you have that time?
I mean, this is basically what I'm working on currently. So yes, I'm working on that. But I mean, some steps already happened. So I hope I don't mispronounce the name. Bikram from Wave Labs already took over the ownership of the monthly DevOps meeting, for example. And yeah, a couple more points are in progress.
Yeah, and previously I was also taking the lead for the engineering meetings, but from past 1 month, Niels has been taking that. So we may be needing a new person who can lead that engineering team.
Good idea.
We are
Okay, I
over
think,
time.
I think we are running out of time. So, yeah, Kendall, shall we
Is there
start?
any other urgent items that need to be discussed, or are we good to go? I'll take the silence as we are good. All right, let's go ahead and end the meeting and have a great day, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks,
you.
everyone.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.